Hello, class. Yes, welcome to Band 101. Now, today we'll be drummers, sticks down. Sticks down. Thank you. Okay, where were we? Now, today we will be talking about different forms of payment. Guitarist, this is not the time to be noodling. This is Mr. Malmsteen, don't make me come over there. Hails, minions and mortals, this is Fang from Lords of the Trident, and last month's video brought up a bunch of really great queries that can be condensed down into a single question. How do bands get paid for a show? Well, the answer is, it depends. There are a number of different ways that bands get paid for their performance. So for newer bands, or for our non-gigging members out there, I'm going to break down each method and list them from worst to best. It's time to go back to school with Fang's Band 101, How to Get Paid. From worst to best, here is how bands get paid. Number 1, the worst, pay to play. Wait, bands actually pay money to play a show? Shouldn't that be the other way around? Yes, it definitely should, but unfortunately these schemes are surprisingly common. Expect a full video in the future with a breakdown of how all of these scams work, but for now, we're just gonna skim the scummy surface. Pay-to-play shows prey on newer bands and come in a variety of flavors. Pay-to-play scheme number 1, straight up pay-to-play. This is where a club owner asks a band for a sound fee or house fee or room fee, and lets the bands play but keeps all of the money coming in from both the door and the bar. This is straight up exploitation, and thankfully, this version of pay-to-play is pretty darn rare. What's not rare is pay-to-play scheme number 2, purchasing tickets to sell. The venue will require you to buy a certain amount of tickets ahead of time, and then you make your money back by selling them to your friends and fans at an inflated cost. Usually the venue will require you to purchase somewhere between $200 and $500 worth of tickets ahead of time. And if you can't sell those tickets, well, you're out of the money you paid. A lot of booking agents will sugarcoat this by saying, hey, if you sell all the tickets that you bought at an inflated cost, you'll be in the black. Oh no, look, see here, you buy 50 tickets for $10 a piece, and then you turn around and sell them for $15. Boom! Easiest $250 you ever made. The reality of the situation is most of your friends and fans who are excited to see this show have probably already bought tickets before you were even added to the bill. So you're gonna be stuck begging and pleading random people to buy these tickets from you. Most of the time, you will lose money on this deal. Plus, it's the venue's job to sell tickets, not yours. Pay-to-play scheme number 3, selling tickets without upfront cost. Basically, you're given a number of tickets to sell, and you return 100% of the money you sold those tickets for, plus the unsold tickets, back to the venue before you play. While this is technically not as bad as buying the tickets ahead of time, it's still not fair to you or the band, because you did all the work to sell the tickets, and the only thing you get in return is the ability to play the show. There are a number of other situations that qualify as pay-to-play, such as buying onto a tour.
Bet you didn't know a bunch of those opening bands on the big tours are paying $200 to $500 a night to be there. Did ya?
And other things like that, but we're gonna save the details for a video in the future. Pay-to-play is the absolute worst. I would never, ever recommend taking any of these shows, ever. Now, I'd like to say that we have never done a pay-to-play show, but in reality, we paid to open for Halloween. Due to that show, we ended up meeting someone who became a gigantic supporter of the band and a really good friend, but look, that was a 1 in a million chance. When someone offers you a pay-to-play show, just say no. The next worst way to get paid. Number 2, exposure. In the words of the late, great Clyde Stubblefield, I ain't playing for exposure, you could die from that. Playing for exposure means that you don't get any of the ticket sales, you don't get any guarantee money, you don't get any money whatsoever. You're basically just playing to get your name out there. Now, if your merch game is on point and you have the opportunity to play, say, a giant, really well-attended festival, yeah, I mean, it could work for you. However, I would shy away from these shows as much as possible. If you're routinely giving away your performance for free, it devalues your band when you get to the point of asking for a guaranteed amount of money. Ways to get paid number 3, a split of the door after a sound fee or room fee. Under this deal, a venue sets a ticket price at the door that the bands will equally split only after a certain amount of money has been made. This is usually called a venue fee, a room fee, or a sound fee, and it's typically used to pay off the sound guy for mixing you for the night. Wait a minute, isn't the sound guy like technically an employee of the venue? I mean, shouldn't the venue be covering that cost? Yeah, absolutely they should. But adding a sound fee or a room fee is a good way for venues to cover their butts when they're booking. If you have a deal with a sound fee or a room fee attached to it, that's code for we're not convinced that you're going to bring out enough people to cover our costs for the night, so we're going to take some of your money. In the eyes of the venue, bands that bring out 100 plus people to their shows are probably not going to miss an extra $75 to $100 because there's so many people out, they're probably going to do really well in merch sales. Plus, a sound fee or a room fee allows a venue to take a chance on newer bands that maybe can't pull out that many people yet. However, it's also a really good excuse for a booking agent to just be lazy and book whoever they want without doing any research whatsoever. Number 4, getting warmer, a split of the bar sales. Some venues don't charge patrons for shows. Since the show is free, they expect more people to come out and therefore more drink sales. In exchange for playing, the bands get a certain percentage of all of the drink sales in a certain time period of the night. Usually this time period begins an hour before the band starts playing and can end either at bar time at the very end of the night or an hour after the band has finished playing. Bands can usually expect to be offered between 20% and 40% of the bar sales in a given time period. This is great for bands with fans who love to drink or for playing certain heavy drinking holidays, for example, Cinco de Mayo, St. Paddy's Day, etc. In general, I would call this a fair deal, although I will say from experience we've made more money at shows that have a door fee rather than shows where we get a percentage of the bar. The upside to these type of shows is that they are free, which usually attracts way more people, so you should be able to make up that money on extra merch sales for the night. Nothing guilt trips like a free show. Number 5, even better, a guarantee, but with a cut of the merch sales. A guarantee is far and away the best way for bands to get paid. So why isn't this at the very top of the list? Well, some larger venues will give you a guarantee in exchange for a percentage of your merch sales for the night. Usually this happens at bigger venues and on bigger tours. Although the guarantee is a step in the right direction, taking money from artists' merch sales just seems wrong. I mean, ask any artist and they'll let you know that 80 to 90% of all the money that comes in on any given night comes from the merch booth. And, you know, we need that money to, like, eat and survive. It's like somebody coming into your house and taking food directly out of your fridge. It just feels weird and wrong. I mean, ask Sarah Longfield. She's fought back hard against this, even going so far as to release a team of trained bears on the venue's booking agent for daring to ask her for 25% of her merch sales.
I did do that, yes.
Number 6, the second best, an equal split of the door. Of the deals listed, this one is far and away the fairest to all parties involved. The venue takes care of paying for the sound and the lights, and the bands equally split 100% of the door from the first dollar that comes in. The venue takes a little bit of the risk, and the bands take a little bit of the risk. I would say that this, along with its sound and room fee bastard cousin, is probably the most common way for bands to get paid at a show. Number 7, the very best, a guarantee. The absolute best type of show, and a show that we will almost always play, is a show with a guarantee. Guaranteed shows are great for a number of reasons. First, we know that the venue is serious about promoting the show because it's their money on the line. Also, the amount of money we make is not dependent on how many people come out, and this shields us from acts of God like bad weather. The venue keeps all of the money that comes through the door, but we keep 100% of our merch sales, and the guarantee is usually enough to cover our gas and expenses. All in all, this is the best type of situation for any band playing a show. Bands, is there a situation that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. And hey, if you want to help us make up for subpar bar deals when we're on the road, jump on our Patreon at patreon.com/Lords of the Trident.